Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
This is a production for the voice of San Joaquin. Porque nos vamos a enlazar con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
El de Guayá.
You got it, homeboy. Ahí les voy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No hace falta averiguar, saben a qué me dedico. Me gusta vivir muy bien, aunque me siga el peligro.
Nosotros somos los Tucanes de Tijuana y nos vamos directamente. Adelante, échale, primo.
Hay que hacer ruido para que se mire la polvadera. Ahí le va. Mi gente le gusta la neta. Escuche en su carro, en su avioneta. Si prefiere mejor en bicicleta o en casa de su suegra Petra. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Hay que hacer ruido. Sin pelos en la lengua. Para que se viera la polvadera. Sin pelos en la lengua. Se escucha la neta.
You know what I got? I got a picture of his face.
For more information on the Voice of San Joaquin, go to tvosj.org.
The Voice of San Joaquin and the Voice of Stockton present Connections, Peace and Justice Radio with your host, Bruce Giudici.
And good evening. This is April 8th, the Monday before Earth Day, the way we're celebrating Earth Day on April 14th in Victory Park from 11 to 4 all day. And so we want to discuss this evening what's going on with RTD and our bus system in Stockton, but also more broadly just transportation issues and also the impact that our transportation choices have on the environment. With us tonight, we have Emily Oestreicher, who works for RTD as a senior marketing analyst or senior marketing
specialist.
Yeah,
but yes.
Very good. And I also have Ava Simpson, who has worked on countless Earth Days, and this year she is working on the March for Science, which is a transportation theme type of thing, which is marching around Victory Park starting at 10 o'clock before the official 11 o'clock kickoff for Earth Day. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. It's going to be great. This is the greatest week of the year. It's the week before Earth Day. And so we just had a fantastic meeting, organizing meeting that brought everybody together, and we were talking about all sorts of activities are going to happen, but more to the point right now, we want to talk about transportation issues for the city, because this year, for the first time, RTD is a sponsor for Earth Day, which is very welcome. Thank you. Yay. And so anyway, what we wanted to do is first say, well, sometimes when you're thinking about how to get to Victory Park and you say, well, parking's kind of a distant walk once in a while, though walking is not a bad thing to do on a beautiful day like it's going to be on Earth Day. But there is also an option that we have this year, which is the first time. There's going to be free shuttle buses from Delta. So Emily, what's going on with that?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you for having me on your program.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. And actually the conversation related to how RTD can be more involved in Earth Day started a few years ago, actually, with Ava coming up to our RTD booth and saying, this is all about Earth Day. We're so happy that RTD is here with the electric bus that's on display.
And RTD has been in Earth Day for years.
Yeah.
Kelvin and the crew have been sitting in that right at the corner there by the Hagen Museum parking lot.
And I think before that it was even Nate Knott was coming out.
Right, exactly. Right.
So the conversation started with Ava thinking about how can RTD be more involved, especially with the public transportation on Earth Day, because of the fact that the majority of RTD's transit happens Monday through Friday, and mostly to help with people getting to work, getting to school, things like that. So Sunday, it's a little bit lighter. So it wasn't super easy to get to Victory Park on a Sunday afternoon.
Right.
So this year, we're so happy about the fact that the whole theme is all about transportation, bus, bike, or take a hike.
Yeah, that's right. Move green San Joaquin. You betcha.
So we figured that this was the year that we definitely wanted to make free public transit access happen to and from Earth Day.
Yeah.
So we partnered up with Delta College, which is a nice spot because they do have a lot of
parking
space, and
on a Sunday they have a lot of parking.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody wants to park at Delta in the Shima 1 parking zone.
Now, that's the one that's closest to Target, is that right?
It's the one. It's closest to campus. Actually, there's an existing RTD bus stop there, like a hopper bus stop. So that's where one of our our vehicles will be there, about on a 15-minute rotation, taking people to and from Victory Park.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's like these big buses that you're going to be putting out there.
Small buses. Yeah. So we actually launched a brand new service called RTD VanGo. So this is a service that we started launching in North County, and we launched countywide on March 25th. And what's great about this service is it's
March 25th, so it's like a week or two.
Brand new.
It's really
brand new. So are these new buses?
They are new buses, and they're wrapped in really fun ways. So they're all designed, inspired by Vincent van Gogh, works of art by Vincent van Gogh. So
Van Gogh, I get it.
Oh, you get it.
I get it now. Okay.
Well, we want to make public transportation a work of art, of course.
Yeah.
So what's nice about this service is that typically the way you use it is it's like a Lyft or an Uber. You just download our app, which is called RTD VanGo, and one of these vehicles will pick you up within a half hour of you placing your order, and it's door-to-door service. The biggest difference here is that we have an introductory rate, which is $4 for one way, and that includes 3 friends. And then you could also do $10 for all day. That also includes 3 friends.
So you could take a group?
Yeah, I mean, you could go up to Lodi, take a group wine tasting all day if you wanted.
Cool.
So that's a nice service. And also the big difference is, unlike Lyft or Uber, we use all of our certified drivers, and all of our vehicles are wheelchair, ADA accessible. So that's the main difference there.
And how many passengers?
So each of these vehicles seats 8 people. A wheelchair will take up 2 of those seats. So just calculate it that way.
So where does somebody get it? So these things are going to be available on Earth Day.
For free.
For free.
Yep.
So this is a way you can try it out, test it out, check out the fantastic. I mean, and then after that, it's essentially 75 cents per person one way, because it's like 4 people for. I mean, you know, if $4, no, it's like
a dollar
a person. Carry the one. Oh man!
And you do what for a living?
Yeah, I'm going on the bus now. So anyway, so on Sunday. So when does this start on Sunday?
So this starts right at 10. And we'll go till 3. So the last pickup from the Hagen to. From Victory Park to Delta will be at 3:30.
3:30. Okay, and that'll be picking up by the stage, or is it by the museum?
It'll be picking up right where you'll see the RTD electric bus, that loop right by the Hagen Museum. It'll just loop around, and that's what will pick people up.
Okay. Over on the south
side.
The middle of the park on the south side.
Sort of by the firehouse?
Exactly.
By the
down that driveway where the firehouse is.
Okay, the back parking lot. Right where the electric bus always is.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you've been to Earth Day, you just go to the electric bus and then
and we'll have a sign.
And that's every half hour, you say?
Every 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, we'll have 2 of the vehicles just doing rotation.
Well, how cool.
Long.
So just because I know people hear parts, so you're saying for this day only, it's a park and ride.
Park and ride.
And then for future, it's a
dial-a-ride.
It's a
Uber. It's basically like mobility on demand. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. The name of the app is RTD VanGo, so you can find it on your Android, on your iPhone.
I did download it. I haven't tried it.
Good. Yeah, try it out.
So do you if there's only one of me and I'm going to a
Uh-huh.
place and they get a call for something that's along the way, would it be a shared ride?
Yeah, so there is a possibility of that.
Okay, okay.
They might pick up somebody along the way.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
there's
you
a window of, you know, that you'll get to and from your destination
Yes.
in a certain time slot, but don't cut it too close.
Yes,
right?
exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
I got
And
it.
how far will you go? You said Lodi.
So the best way to figure this out, I brought a flyer here, but the
Uh-huh.
best thing to do is just go on
Come to
our-
Earth Day and
Come
check
to
out-
Earth Day, hear all about it.
Even better.
And go to our website. It's sjrtd.com. If you want to know more about this specifically, it's sjrtd.com/VanGo.
Uh-huh.
And we have designated different zones.
Uh-huh.
You know, there's a Lodi zone, Stockton zone, Manteca, and Tracy.
Uh-huh.
So anywhere in that zone, you can go. If you know, say in Manteca and you need to go to Stockton, for
Uh-huh.
example, there are a few options there. So the VanGo can drop you off at the closest transit station,
Mhm.
and the driver will actually give you a free pass
A transfer?
to take transit.
Okay.
Yeah, a free transfer to take you to wherever you need to go within that different zone.
Okay.
Or you can get dropped off and you just have to get another VanGo.
Okay.
It gets a little bit complicated because
Yeah.
there's different
Sure. But if you want to go,
sections of the county, but the free transfer will work for public transit in Tracy, public transit in Lodi, and they'll transfer all of the different
That's fantastic.
cities, towns that use different
so
public
if you want to
transit
go up
besides
to
RTD.
a concert up in Hutchins Square, or if you want to go down to a ball game down in Manteca, or if you
Yep.
want to go and check out whatever Tracy's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can just
Yes.
jump on one of these things.
So
Yep.
that would require two zones. So
Two zones.
So you'd go. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that is way cool.
It is.
Fantastic. And so this just kicked off a
March
week ago.
25th, yeah.
2 weeks ago.
The other good thing about it are the hours. So
Uh-huh.
Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then
Mhm.
on the weekends, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, nice.
So that means it's
Wow.
possible, you know, to, for example, in the summer, to go to a Ports game and not
Yeah.
have to worry about
Yeah.
driving, parking, things like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking over at your flyer.
Yeah.
So, wishing I had done a little better job with art history to know which
Yeah.
which of Van Gogh's paintings are represented here.
Okay, well, you see the self-portrait,
Yeah.
Right.
and then almond blossoms,
Okay.
which we thought was really appropriate for this area.
Yes.
And then we took a little bit of artistic liberty and we did a RDD Van Gogh interpretation, which, for those of you that don't know, is our famous mascot.
Oh,
Will
yeah.
he be there at Earth Day or
He might be there.
that would be
Yes,
fun?
if it's not too hot.
Hot. It's not going to be too hot. Supposedly it's going to be beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Perfect. Not too
That's
hot,
what we
not
heard.
too cold.
That's what we
Little-
heard.
Little partly cloudy and maybe in the upper 60s.
All
Yeah.
right.
And then
Bueno.
we have Starry
Fun.
Night, we have Cafe. I
Yeah.
don't know what the official names are of the other two, but the good news is you really
Sunflowers.
you
That
can't
one's-
miss them.
Yeah.
So there's
Um,
seven different
We
styles?
have 8 total.
Wow.
Well, that's cool.
That is so fun.
Now, and then also in a couple days,
Mhm.
you're going to have an event at
Yes.
the Hagen Museum.
Yeah. So we're actually having the launch party
Launch
at the
party.
Hagen Museum. We figured we'd call it Van Gogh exhibition
Yes.
at the Hagen.
Of course.
So yeah, that'll be a fun event, free, open to the public, some nice appetizers and beverages. We also worked with a local artist and teacher, David Vallejo. I don't know if you know him, but we commissioned an original Van Gogh inspired work of art that we'll be giving away in a drawing at that event.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what time is it? The event?
It's from 5 to 7. Speeches start at 5:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so this should be fun too.
Well, that
Will
sounds
they
fantastic.
people be able to get on one of them and take a
Yeah,
look or
we'll
something?
have 2 of them on display outside for people
Right.
to check out, and someone will be out there to help answer questions. And then we'll have an information table inside too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what we're talking about here is we're talking about the Van Gogh buses, the new service that RTD is doing that just kicked off on March 25th, but also the fact that these new buses are going to be available to you for free shuttle rides on, it's like a ride you can go back and forth and just stay on it all day long. But we'd rather you probably stop at Earth
like
Day
the
for
elevator.
yeah, like the elevator. Look at this, goes back down. But But you can get on this thing. You can go to Shima 1 parking lot in Delta starting at 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning. And because of course, you might miss a little bit of the March for Science, but not too much of it, because you'd get there at 10:15 or so, because it's not a really long drive. And it's a free shuttle, and it's a way to test out this thing, and you can ask the driver questions, and once you land at the Earth Day, you can talk to the bus people there and ask them more questions about how you can use this thing.
Yep.
And so it's a way cool thing. Who would have thought, Stockton?
Yeah.
Right? This is really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, so good. So so also what we're talking about here is we're talking about the 31st annual Earth Day that we're having out in Victory Park from 11 to 4 is the regular day, and that's when entertainment's going to start. But at 10 o'clock we're going to have the March for Science, and so Ava has been putting together or has been coordinating the March for Science for this is the 3rd year now.
Yes, it is.
The first year we had it was the day before Earth Day. And then last year was the first time we had it at the beginning of the day and tacked on an additional hour ahead of the day at 10 o'clock. And that's when we enlisted the is it a drum corps, a drum, the Chavez drum line. There you go, drum line. And so they pretty much led the march that went around the park a couple times. And so what's happening this year that's a little bit different?
Well, in order to maybe add a little fun element to the march, we were inspired actually by a friend of ours who did pass away, Roy Hoggard, who was an artist and an activist and just a fun guy. And he had talked about a kinetic sculpture race, and some people call it a doodah parade, and we're wanting to add that to the March for Science, and then now we want to do it more in his honor. Okay. But the idea here, rather than doing it on the street, is keeping it small, which is our footprint literally for this march, is keeping it on the sidewalk, so we don't have to go through a lot of hoops to get permits and everything. So we're inviting people to bring bicycles or wagons out, decorate them in some kind of fun manner. So we're calling it a steampunk junk parade. Okay. And the steampunk has got multiple meanings. One, because this is a March for Science. Yes. And the newest trends for several years now in the schools is they've expanded the initial core teaching of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. And they've added an A and called it STEAM, and the A stands for art. And it's a much more exciting way to teach, because we are such visual learners, many of us, and most of us are visual learners. And in incorporating the art and the arts, I think, music and art, into the mix makes it more impactful. So that's where the STEAM comes from, steampunk junk, and then steampunk, for those who aren't familiar with that term, that's more of a design and
sort of old style gothic type of
yeah, it's industrial age. It's inspired. Think Jules Verne meets Sherlock Holmes meets Wild Wild West. Right. It's kind of all of that. It's industrial.
And if you know those three terms, you are of a certain age.
That's right. If you don't Google it.
Google it. Yeah, just Google it.
Google it.
You know, I would like to think of it as being streampunk junk with 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. But maybe streampunk. But right now, because next year we can maybe incorporate some recycled type of stuff into this, or reusing.
But we are encouraging people when they decorate their wagons and bicycles and strollers.
Yeah, because you don't have to march necessarily with your feet. You can you can roll along.
You can roll, right?
Yeah, you
because
can drag your children.
You can bus bike or take a hike.
Yeah, right. Bus bike. Yeah,
yes, you can.
Bring a wagon or something.
Yes.
Ah.
So, but we're encouraging them to decorate with recycled or repurposed found objects. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
But keep within the theme, and if you want to dress up, you want to wear a fun hat or outfit.
Yeah.
So this year, to be honest, we're not expecting a huge outpouring of people to come with that theme in mind, but we want to have just enough representation that we can build on it and make it a fun focal point to this.
Come as you want to. I mean, I mean, make it fun. Because science doesn't have to always be super serious, and the environment doesn't always have to be a super serious issue. I mean, it is a very important issue that we have to address some of the things that are happening environmentally in this country. And one thing about this Earth Day is we try to get people to come out and to enjoy themselves, to have a nice, easy way to see old friends and to learn some things and to pick up new ideas as to how we can live lighter on the planet. Again, just like with this year Earth Day, we're going to be having vegetarian booths who are teaching people on this one day that you do not have to eat animal, and because for all the other reasons, there's the additional reason that there is just so many resources that go into a pound of any sort of animal that you might eat. And so if you can eat lower in the food chain, the amount of water and the amount of air, the amount of water that you save, and the amount of air that you don't pollute is just astounding. And the amount of land that doesn't get gobbled up by growing alfalfa or corn for silage or whatever meat-based product is remarkable. And so, and we try to stress to people that if you can go with a one day a week with not eating meat, and that's a big deal for a lot of people in this country. I mean, it's like you can't. It's very easy to grab a hamburger or to grab something very fast and easy, but if you think about it and you think about your footprint, and if everybody did that in this country, there would be a lot of land that would be freed up for habitat for animals or for more food for hungry folks both here and abroad. The water that we drink, that we have to live with, would be much cleaner. And the air, I mean, if you go down towards Bakersfield, it's not all diesel fumes. I mean, there's a lot of dairies down there, and there's a lot of stuff in the air that is pretty nasty. And so, again, so vegetarian, that's where the beef is for Earth Day. We just don't do it. And so, but a lot of the air pollution that we do have is the result of our vehicles, of our transportation. I think a third of the air pollution in the state, if not more, comes from vehicles in California. And we know very well in San Joaquin County, in the San Joaquin Valley, that we consistently overshoot the ozone requirement, but the levels at which ozone is hazardous, and so especially in the summer months, and so we really do need to cut back on our driving. I should be one to talk, but cut back on our driving and find public transit ways to get around. So again, we're coming back to RTD, which if haven't mentioned it before, it has all sorts of new innovative things that, I mean, you see press releases coming out on a regular basis of what RTD is doing. What other new exciting, and we have the VanGos that are going to be shuttling people to and from Shima One parking lot at Delta on Earth Day. What other stuff that are you guys cooking up?
Sure. Well, and yes, I know we send out a lot of press releases.
Yeah, no,
I think
great.
we have that reputation. But we do have a lot of good news to talk about.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep them going.
Yeah, like the electric buses. I mean,
exactly.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people know, probably because of our press releases, but RTD was voted the #1 transit district in the nation.
Yeah.
And that's not just for North America, that includes Canada, so it was a pretty big deal.
That is a big deal.
And one of the reasons, I think one of the reasons we won that award is because of our commitment to keep the air quality in San Joaquin County as clean as possible as we can for a bus company. And one of the ways we do that is by having a very large fleet of all electric buses. So all electric buses means 0 emissions in the environment, which, you were talking about cows earlier. The one cow for one day, in 1 hour gives out more emissions in the environment than an RTD all-electric bus will in its whole lifetime.
Oh my gosh.
So it's clean.
Yeah.
It's a clean vehicle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to put it in those terms.
That's okay.
You had me thinking about
That's right, yeah.
So, and we also made a pledge by the year 2025 to be all electric in our fleet of
So how many are
vehicles.
in the fleet right now?
Right now, don't quote me on this, but we probably have about between 10 and 12 that are going. And most of those are on our bus rapid transit routes.
Right. The double-decker ones with the thing in the middle?
The ones that are electric, you'll see them, they're wrapped in a different way.
Okay.
Kind of a little bit more modern. They're stripy. It'll say, electric on the side.
Okay.
And so that's one of the ones that's going to be at Earth Day.
Yes, that'll be at Earth Day.
Okay.
Yeah. And so so that's one way that our
So you say that's used on the rapid what
bus
routes?
rapid transit routes.
And what are those? Like express lines?
Exactly, like express lines. So those are also good for the environment in a few ways, in that it's usually just a straight line. So the reason a lot of cities and urban areas go towards bus rapid transit routes is it's kind of like, a subway line, except on the street. Straight line, you can get from one side of the city to another fairly quickly. A lot of cities have designated bus lanes, which makes it even faster. But another thing that these routes do is they get preferential light treatment, which I don't know if
they
you
can
knew
actually
about that.
trigger that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So if they're headed towards a light, it'll turn green for them.
So stick close to those buses.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yes, we're good
what
for everybody.
So what streets? What are examples of streets that do that?
So Pacific.
Pacific.
Down Pacific is a bus rapid transit route, and then we opened up a few additional ones in South Stockton recently, down the MLK corridor. We have a route that goes to Edison High, Franklin High.
Okay.
So.
Does anything go between towns, like West Lane or something like that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to our Hammer Triangle Station.
Pretty much just okay.
Yeah.
Hammer Triangle Station. Where's that?
That's by the Food for Less on Hammer.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not from Stockton.
Okay, you're not. Oh
no,
man.
I'm not from Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah. Bay Area girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The triangle is the Hammer, Lower Sac, Thornton Road triangle.
Oh,
yes,
that one.
thank
Okay,
you.
by Orchard Display.
Right over there.
Okay.
So I know that route goes all the way.
The oldies where the Brunners used to be.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, the Wild West thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Right. So
me and Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, really. Yeah, when it was written.
Yes.
So okay, so you got the electric buses on these rapid lines, and then other buses that go out to. I mean, is there some? When Terry came by, he was also talking about connections with the Ace train. Yeah, BART. And
we have commuter service.
That's
we expanded that service as well.
Okay.
To add more connections during the weekday and also connections during the weekend.
Okay.
And later.
And later.
Yeah. I mean, you can actually stay in the city now and get back at a reasonable time.
And they're really nice vehicles. They all have Wi-Fi and.
Really? Mm-hmm. The buses have Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Man.
The commuter buses do.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm a huge fan of rail travel.
You are.
I do Amtrak all the time, but there are
Amtrak is going to be at Earth Day. Anyway.
Yes, but there have been limitations in the current route between the San Joaquin station and the Bay Area because you have to get back to Stockton by 7:30 in the evening, which means you start shutting down your day in San Francisco
by 4.
Yeah,
at least.
4, about 4 by the time you make your connections. I mean, it's still a wonderful way to travel, but you have to factor in that. So now, how late you can get back here? Something like 10 o'clock, I think, is the last arrival time, and so, which is very doable.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well, this is Peace and Justice Connections, and we are talking about RTD in Stockton, and we're talking with Emily Oestreicher and Ava Simpson, who are both going to be taking part in Earth Day coming up on April 14th this week. The 31st annual at Victory Park again, from 10 to 4. 10 o'clock is the March for Science. 11 to 4 is the event when you can go and check out some really great booths. We have about 75 booths who have signed up again this year, so it's going to be a fantastic. Some are new, some are returning folks who are going to have something new for you. And so it's definitely worth your while. Again, this is a free event, and it's a free community event. And you can't. I think it's just a fantastic expression of the community that says that we can come out here and we can provide this sort of thing. The city of Stockton has provided support. The Stockton Area Water Services have provided financial support, but altogether it costs less than $10,000 to operate this event, and it doesn't cost anybody a penny to go. It's in Victory Park, which is one of the most open parks in the city. It's really walkable. It's really beautiful. It's a nice big. It's a huge meadow in the middle where people can throw frisbees and have fun. And then along the periphery, there's all sorts of different educational booths. Annette DePauli is going to be doing face painting, and she's also going to have these great posters of different sorts of San Joaquin County for the parks, for the bus routes, and for the bike trails. Yeah. And she's going to have interactive things that people can do with those displays. Again, there's vegetarian food. There's going to be great local entertainment. The Brubeck Group is going to be there. Bad Goods and other groups are going to be there. Jerry McNerney is going to be passing out awards to folks who are doing great things environmentally. So it's really going to be a fantastic day. If you have your recent connections looks like this. Anyway, it looks like this, and it has Stockton Earth Day, bus, bike, take a hike. There's a nice little bicycle on there, and it talks about all the stuff. The itinerary, the entertainment schedule is on the front page, and then a description of the day, and then also other connections is more than just fish wrap. It's got some really good articles on the back side. Talks about RTD rolls out VanGo countrywide. Hey, what? How about that? And then also some nice little scheduling stuff. Talking about Earth Day being spread out to Tracy now on the 27th. So Tracy's going to have a Earth Day event on the 27th, and Calaveras County is going to have their annual event on the 28th up at Utica Park. And that's something that I also work on. And so
there'll be bike ballet there too, right? By the Bike Coalition.
For our
Earth Day,
our Earth Day, right? Exactly. The Bike Coalition is going to be at our Earth Day. It's And so if you do come with a bicycle and you want to come and park it, there's a bike corral there. You can just put it there, and somebody will be watching it while you walk around. It's a fantastic event, and I think everybody here and everybody at the meeting this evening was just all jazzed about it because it's going to be a good, fun
did
time.
We mention we have the best MC?
Oh yes, we do have the best MC. I don't know how we could get him, but it's been like a year since we had him last, and that was Governor Don, who was just fantastic up there and introducing people and talking about. He knows a lot about environmental stuff. Don't let him fool you.
So you don't have to script him.
No, you don't.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah, he does.
I've been an Earthling my whole life.
Yeah, he's been around. So anyway, so it's going to be a fantastic day. So we have these signs here. What are these? So I know this is radio, but sometimes you can see these things. But there's these little signs here that says Stockton March for Science to launch the Earth Day Festival. And so they look like this. And then what you're able to do is you're able to write on the back of them your own little message, or big message, or whatever. You have
Mine
a
says
message.
Science is cool.
And mine says save our planet. What does yours say, Emily?
Mine says pedal power.
Pedal power. There you go. And so what when you come to Earth Day, like say with your kids, or with with yourself, there will be little color crayon things that you can use to fill out these things, and you can have your own souvenir sign that you can use every year, because there's no date on this, and so every year you can walk around with this science, and believe it or not, these issues that we're talking about are going to outlive us. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that the one thing about the environment is it endures. It's not something that you accomplish and you say, okay, that's you check it off your bucket list. These are like habits that you have to continue, and you have to repeat, and you have to keep on recycling, and you have to keep on thinking about where your garbage goes, and you have to think about where your how much gas you're using every time you go someplace. So, because it's a process. It's not an end result. And so our entire habitat, our entire all of the animals that we see, all of the habitats that we have in this amazing planet are just so vulnerable to our impacts. And we're seeing that now. I mean, we're seeing that in terms of the extremes of climate that we're having to deal with now, in terms of floods and heat waves and hurricanes and glaciers melting and things. And we really do have to, it's not just a political talking point to say, oh yeah, you're just a part of that environmental elite. It's not at all. This is the game. The game is what we're playing now, and we can't afford to lose this game. So it's so important that people learn about science, that people learn that science can tell us something. It can predict things after seeing what has happened in the past. You can replicate those conditions and project them forward and say what is going to happen may have happened in the past. And this planet is billions of years old. And so there are cycles that you could say, well, yeah, this has happened before, and yeah, we've already had 5 mass extinctions. Well, I don't want to be part of the 6th one. I don't want to be a cause of the 6th one.
Exactly.
There is something. I mean, maybe there were animals back then who appreciated the diversity that they had before the 5th extinction. But right now, I think a lot of us should appreciate the diversity that we have now, because it is just quite amazing. If you'll just watch a documentary like Life on Earth or any of the PBS documentaries, and noticing how animals reproduce, how they live, how they just exist in a variety of different habitats. And to not have an appreciation for that diversity reflects just a lack of imagination, as far as I'm concerned, and just a lack of appreciation. And so we really, and I'll get off my soapbox so you can get on yours. But but anyway, I just am at a loss when people just think, well, Delta smelt, it's wasn't much of a fish anyway. I mean, how long did it take for that fish to be able to survive in that habitat?
And where does it fall in the food chain, and
right.
what suffers when it's gone?
Yeah, and the image of taking rivets off an airplane and randomly until you find out that you finally picked off the one rivet that makes the airplane fall apart, right? You don't really know. And that's the self-serving, human argument that you can get some people. Some people will go with that argument. There's all sorts of different arguments on why we should preserve our environment. But for me, it's just the beauty and diversity and the art of this earth, because it is just a remarkable thing. So Anyway, getting back to practical things.
Well, that's pretty practical.
Yeah. So people can bike to this event. We'd like them to bus, bike, or take a hike.
To the event.
To the event. Yeah.
It's all how you say it.
So when you come, there will be a display of the bicycle routes that you can then, once you've gotten there with your bike, you can then use them to
get home.
Get home. And then also just walking. I mean, I've heard people say, "Well, God, I had to walk so far to, I had to park far away and get here." So, well, it's a beautiful day. It's not bad exercise.
No. Or your Fitbit.
Yeah.
Your steps.
There you go. Yeah, my Fitbit. Yeah. So anyway, so what else is happening? But we're talking about the bus system. What else is happening with what are new plans for the bus? I mean, are there any new stations that are going to be going in, or is there any expansion of service?
Yeah, well, we did just host a launch of our Union transfer station, and that's in South Stockton, right by Rancho San Miguel.
Right.
So that's good news because we installed additional electric bus chargers there, which is nice. That means we can open up more routes in that direction.
Is that down by the fairgrounds?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, just across the street from the fairgrounds. Okay. So that's good news because that means we can just extend our electric bus reach by having additional chargers in that area. So that's good news. And yeah, I would say the VanGo service is also something that we're focusing on now. We have some other really exciting programs in the works. I don't think I can talk about them yet. But RTD,
well,
I mean,
we'll wait for the PSA.
Yeah. You'll get it. Yeah. But I've only been with RTD a little bit more than 2 years, and from what I can tell, they are always at the forefront of progressive ideas, programs, and services related to the environment, but more also related to just how to be as inclusive of a transportation service, serving everybody in our county to the best of their ability.
So why is that? I mean, you would think we're, Stockton. I mean, I love Stockton. I think Stockton's, a great innovative place, but a lot of people would be surprised to say, well, Stockton is, it's a small town, medium town in Valley. Why would RTD here take such a progressive attitude rather than just being a backwater,
Sure. Well, from my personal experience, I mean, as I said, I'm not from Stockton. My husband and I moved here from San Francisco about 3 years ago, and what we saw in Stockton was nothing but potential.
Yeah.
We love this city, and I think that most likely our CEO, Donna DeMartino, who has been involved in RTD for obviously many years, I think she also sees opportunity in Stockton and wants to see, I know
so the
there's...
CEO of RTD is a woman?
Yeah.
Okay. There's your answer.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
I would agree.
So it's progressive in that way too. Many of the people in the higher levels of the organization are female.
Yeah.
So that's nice for me too to see.
And that's the feeling you get from it's sort of the corporate culture there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I think Donna sees that there is opportunity for RTD to, for example, take advantage of grants. The fact that there's a lot of opportunity, different zones in Stockton that qualify for financial assistance. So you have to, take advantage of that and make sure that everybody in the community has access to public transit. Right. So, I mean, that's just one example of a way in which, this organization has been smart and has made sure that it takes advantage of opportunities in order to supply public transit for everybody in the community.
Right now we have a fairly by all accounts, our new governor looks like he's going to be pretty supportive of the environment and of transportation. Of course, federally we have a major problem, but that won't persist. And in 2021, we might all be on the same page in terms of finding. I mean, we're talking about grants, and you're talking about facilitating transit. Because if we do look at 2020 as being just a game changer year for looking at environmental issues, not just statewide, because I think statewide I think California is doing its part. I think we can always do more, but I think California is leading the way in a lot of policy things. But if what Stockton is doing is a nation leading effort, and California is a nation leading effort, we can look forward to 2021 as being one in which our impact can be nationwide. The things that we're doing here, the things that we're testing out here. I mean, I think the bullet train was not the wisest use of investment capital. I think I think we could have really bolstered our more local regional routes and build upon that, rather than talking about bullet trains that would benefit only the very well-off people who could afford to take the thing, rather than trying to bolster our existing public transportation system. But then that's a different discussion. But on 2021, I think it's gonna be all in. I think everybody has got to be prepared for 2021 being a major year of change, and that we have to, and also what we need to do is we have to make certain in our election in 2020 that transportation and the environment are front and center in why we make our decisions on who we vote for.
Right. Well, and coming from San Francisco, where for 8 years I didn't have a vehicle, I used public transit, and that was just the logical thing to do, because to park a car was $300 a month. That's and to drive in that sort of traffic, things like that, it just didn't make sense.
Right.
Stockton is a little bit different, because you do have an urban area, but you also have suburban area, and also San Joaquin County as a whole, you have rural areas. So it's a different conversation related to public transit for a purely urban area like San Francisco or New York versus a space like San Joaquin County. But I do think that RTD has done a really good job of, to the best of its ability, being able to assist people through all of those different zones. But it's not easy. It's not a simple solution.
Yeah.
And it takes funding to make it feasible for everybody.
Bruce, I had a question.
Yes.
So as far as the VanGo buses in particular, it seems like it actually seems very trendy now with ride shares being what they are. And I'm wondering, are other transportation districts in other regions, are they following suit, or is this something that RTD got from another area, or how's the transition?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think as I said, we're always trying to be on the forefront and also just keep up with the times. Before RTD VanGo, we actually had a partnership with Uber called RTD Go, where you could, if RTD couldn't get you to where you wanted to go, you could book an Uber, and RTD would help subsidize that fare for you. So we obviously we're in the field of transportation. We know what's going on with different rideshare companies, but I think that this is a good move for RTD, because it is very similar to rideshare options like that, but we do have the addition of having our own certified drivers, and also the addition of these vehicles being wheelchair accessible. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but
great answer.
But the other good thing about it is, I was talking about before, this isn't just a solution for someone that wants to go to Lincoln Center, have go out to dinner, and Of course, we'd be happy to be your designated driver to get you home. But it's also for, you know, people that live in senior communities that might not have access to a vehicle. It's for people that, you know, families that instead of spending $10,000 a year on a second vehicle, they could save their money and just take VanGo if they need to get somewhere.
Yeah, I think
and they can subsidize if they live in a rural area, they can take VanGo to the closest bus station, and they can go to where they want to go from there.
I think that the big thing that sparked my interest really is that, if the listeners aren't familiar, there's a service called Dial-A-Ride, part of the RTD network, and you could call and get a ride if you're in a wheelchair or need that kind of accessibility. And the problem is that you have to order it in advance, and you can't make any changes like day of. And you know, like, to me, this is the perfect solution, because I can imagine how many times, like, somebody who maybe is in that situation and they're enjoying their time with their family, maybe they're in an outing, or maybe they're at a family's house, but then they got to leave because their Dial-A-Ride is coming, and they're that's it. And then if they don't, they're stuck, and it'd be a big problem. Where VanGo seems like it's just a great solution and so affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you know, and I'm not here to beat up on Uber or Lyft, but you know, there is a certain part of my my concern about how the economy has driven people into doing Uber and Lyft for work, and that it's essentially another one of an issue where people choose to exploit themselves because they, you know, there's no benefits, it doesn't pay very well, and it's just a way to plug gaps in a system that should be providing real jobs that provide real benefits and real health care. And health care, of course, is one of our issues. But
the disparity between people that can afford to take an Uber or a Lyft and the drivers themselves is too great. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then also, you know, in terms of taxis are also very expensive. This is like Don is saying, it's a fantastic way to plug a gap that a lot of people are feeling. So we can mention again that there is going to be an opening, or I guess it's an opening, at the Hagen Museum on April 10th from 5 to 7. Yes, this Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Yep. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I can say, having just gone to one of the RTD
openings
parties.
Okay.
Yeah, at the Union Station. They know how to throw a party. They're very creative with what they do, and they're fun. Yeah. And they have fun music.
Well, yeah,
it's all about the bus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. we're excited about the opening at the Hagen.
Yeah.
Because, you know, really, we didn't have to do much. It's a beautiful space as is. Yeah. So. It's really, and Hagen has been really great to work with too.
Yeah. So that is going to be the kickoff for I guess you guys have been running this for a couple of weeks, but this is like the reception for an art show. It's like still sort of in the middle of it. And so on April 10th from 5 to 7 at the Hagen Museum, there's going to be it's a free event open to the public, showing off the RTD VanGo buses, little mini buses with VanGo art on the side of them. There's about 8 or 12 of them, 8 of them. And then we can continue celebrating that on Earth Day, April 14th, because these buses, you will be able to ride on these buses for no cost at all, which is the same cost to get into Earth Day, which is no cost at all. And so you go to Shima 1 parking lot at Delta, and it's starting at 10 o'clock, and you get on that bus and you go on down to the Hagen Museum, which is the back of the parking lot there. You'll get dropped off right where the electric bus is there. Come and take a look at a fantastic day. It's going to be wonderful music and all sorts of things for your kids to do. Then you just come on back to that bus before 3:30, jump on and go back up to Shima 1, and you have had a fantastic free day. It's you know, how can it get any better than that? And not only that, it can get better than that. The weather's going to be nice.
Yeah.
It's not going to rain. And so, you know, and I think we've been blessed like probably 30 out of the 31 years.
I remember the one that we weren't.
So do I. I remember that one very well. It was very bad. But this one will not be like that, because even though it's earlier, we had to have, normally the Earth Day is April 22nd, as we all know. That's the National Earth Day. It's a Monday. And the day before that is when we would normally have had that. But this year, the 21st of April happens to be Easter. And so nobody was going to schedule an Earth Day on Easter Sunday. So everybody's been scheduling theirs around that. Ours is on the 14th. Tracy's is on the 27th. And Calaveras is on the 28th. And if you don't believe me, pick up your Connections newspaper, and on page 20 you'll find out about those other events you can come to after ours, or come to the Earth Day event itself on the 14th, and you can pick up one of these groovy papers, which also has a lot of good information about environment, why we should care, it's just going to be a fantastic day. So anything that you can add before? Are you going to be coming out on the day? You're going to be able to check it out and, and supervise all those buses? And
yes, I'll be there, and our RTD outreach, we call them transit ambassadors. We'll have a few out. We'll be probably have our Wheel of Fun. We'll be giving away all of our fun.
Not the Wheel of Fun.
Yeah. All of our fun promotional items, like our handy highlighter, notepads, pencils, all sorts of fun things.
All the stuff.
Yeah, so we'll be out there.
Groovy. And
yeah, we love Earth Day.
Yeah.
It's just such a fun, well-attended, positive event.
Yeah, it's a festival.
It is great.
Yeah.
It feels like a really good day, community day.
Yeah. I know that it's the same weekend as the Asparagus Festival, but we are different than Asparagus Festival. For one thing, we don't charge admission, but also Asparagus Festival, you can go there on Saturday, and we're only here on Sunday. So you can actually attend both events. Nobody goes to the Asparagus Festival 3 days in a row. So why not go to unless you have a booth there. So go to the Asparagus Festival on the Saturday. Fine, but come to our event on Sunday, and you'll be glad you did. It's going to be a fantastic time. Ava, do you have anything to add for the Earth Day order?
Come on out, bring a wagon to the Hagen. How's that?
Wagon to the Hagen. That's right. Steampunk junk.
That's right.
And that march starts at 10 o'clock.
Right.
And so anyway, so
now,
that's
Bruce, the vendor that usually does the deep frying, are they going to be there?
Yes, they will.
So you're going to have asparagus at Earth Day too.
Yes, that's exactly right. There you go.
Shorter lines.
There you go. Shorter lines. Yeah, that's right.
lines.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost anything to get in. So anyway, okay, so.
But if you're interested, you can take one of our RTD buses to Asparagus Festival. Just throwing that out there.
That's at Delta too, right?
Okay.
No, not at Delta, but that's right across the street from our new Union transfer station.
Okay.
So all of our regular service going out there,
Nice.
Okay.
and we'll also have a little spot where the VanGos can pull in.
Because it's down at the county
fairgrounds, yeah.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah. Excellent. So okay, visit.
So you can do both.
Do both, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a great weekend. So thank you very much, Emily and,
thank you for having
Ava.
me.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And look forward to seeing everybody out at Earth Day. Thank you.